They think 94 means fragile. They think living alone means fading. But I wake stronger, clearer, and more alive than people half my age, because of 5 quiet morning habits I never skip. Most ignore them. But if you stay to the end, I'll show you the one that holds the real secret to strength in old age. Awakening mindfully. The first habit, which forms the very ground of a long and vital life, is also the most easily forgotten in our modern world. It is the practice of mindful awakening, the way we journey across the delicate bridge from the inner landscape of sleep to the outer world of wakefulness determines the energetic signature for the entire day. For most people, this daily journey is not a gentle transition, it is a violent expulsion. The shrill sound of an electronic alarm is a profound shock to the nervous system, an artificial emergency. The first conscious thought is immediately a thought of pressure, a heavy accounting of the day's tasks, burdens, and obligations. The first physical act is so often to reach for a phone, and in that single moment, a consciousness that is still tender, quiet, and receptive is violated by a flood of information, the crises, the demands, the opinions, and the anxieties of the entire world. This is not a true awakening. It is a daily induction into a state of stress, distraction, and fragmentation. Over many decades, a life built upon a daily foundation of such chaos cannot help but feel chaotic and draining. This is a fundamental truth. So, the first act of profound wisdom, the first gesture of self-respect, is to reclaim this sacred transition. Before my feet ever make contact with the floor, before the day's relentless agenda is permitted to take root in the soil of my mind, I give myself the simple yet immeasurably precious gift of 5 minutes of pure stillness. I do not burden it with the name meditation, though it is a meditative act. I think of it as a practice of arrival. I lie still and bring my awareness with gentle curiosity to the undeniable facts of my existence in that moment. I feel the solid, reassuring support of the mattress beneath my body. I notice the texture and the specific weight of the blanket that covers me. I listen to the quiet symphony of the morning as it is, without a need to name or analyze the sounds, the hum of the house, the distant murmur of traffic, the song of an early bird. This is an act of deep grounding. I am anchoring myself in the raw sensory data of the present moment before the restless thinking mind can weave its complex web of stories about what should be, what must be, or what has already gone wrong. In this sanctuary of silence, the mind, of course, will begin its habitual stirring. It has been trained for 9 decades to be a master planner and a warrior. Like a loyal but overeager dog, it wants to leap up and fetch the day's problems before I have even asked for them. The practice, developed over many years, is not to wrestle with this restless mind, for that struggle only creates more agitation. The practice is to notice its activity with a quiet, compassionate attention, almost like a fond grandmother observing a child. When a thought of the day's agenda arises, I simply acknowledge it without judgment. Ah, the planner has awakened. And then, with a gentleness that has become second nature, I lovingly guide my awareness back to the anchor of my breath. I feel the simple, rhythmic miracle of the air entering my body, and then the complete release as it leaves my body. Each time I notice that my mind has wandered away, and each time I gently guide it back, I am performing the most important exercise of my day. I am strengthening the muscle of awareness. I am consciously carving out a sacred space between who I am and the thoughts that I have. And in that pristine space, one finds not emptiness, but a profound and resilient peace. This is the bedrock. Gentle unfolding, the second habit flows organically from the first. It is the practice of honoring the physical body not as a machine to be switched on and put to work, but as a delicate living plant to be gently unfolded towards the light of a new day. After many hours of relative stillness in sleep, the body, and especially a body that has seen 94 winters, is in a natural state of quiet stiffness. The intricate web of fascia, the connective tissue that lovingly wraps every single muscle, bone, and organ in a continuous sheet, has had time to settle and become less pliable. The lubricating synovial fluid within the joints is thick and still. To leap directly from the bed into hurried, vigorous activity is a profound shock to this physical system. It would be akin to taking a beautiful but cold and stiff piece of ancient parchment and trying to abruptly force it open. You are far more likely to create a new crease, a strain, or even a tear than you are to reveal a smooth, open surface. The path of wisdom, therefore, is one of mindful and gradual unfolding. It is a loving invitation to the body to return to its natural state of fluidity, pliability, and grace before we ask it to carry us through the world. This process of unfolding begins with the smallest and most distant parts of my physical self, the points where my energy body makes its most intimate contact with the world, my hands and my feet. While still lying or sitting peacefully, I bring my full, undivided attention to my ankles. I begin to make slow, deliberate, conscious circles, first moving in one direction and then in the other. This is not a hurried exercise to be checked off a list. My mind is fully present with the sensation, feeling the subtle pulling and releasing in the tendons and ligaments, noticing the first whispers of warmth as the circulation begins to improve. I am sending a gentle, polite signal up the entire energetic pathway of my leg, a message that says, "It is time to awaken, my friend." I then offer this same quality of gentle, loving attention to my wrists and hands. I make slow, fluid circles with my wrists. Then I perform a simple, beautiful movement. I stretch my fingers as wide as I can, as if I am offering my open heart to the new day, and then I slowly and softly curl them into a relaxed fist, as if gathering my energy back to my own center. I repeat this several times, feeling the life, warmth, and awareness return to my hands, the very hands that will prepare my food, tend my small home, and perhaps write a letter to a friend. From these peripheral gateways, I then bring my awareness to the great river of my being, the central pillar upon which my entire physical structure depends, my spine. I believe that a healthy, supple spine is one of the primary keys to a youthful, vital body, regardless of one's chronological age. I practice a simple, seated version of a spinal wave, a movement known to many traditions. Placing my hands on my knees for gentle support, I take a slow, deep breath in, and as I do, I allow my spine to gently arch forward. My chest lifts as if pulled by a string toward the heavens, and my gaze drifts softly upward. I am creating a wave of gentle extension from the base of my tailbone to the crown of my head. Then, as I exhale slowly and completely, I reverse the movement, allowing my spine to gently round, my chin falling softly toward my chest, feeling a beautiful, releasing stretch all across my upper back and between my shoulder blades. I repeat this 5 or 6 times, ensuring the movement is led not by force, but by the rhythm of my own breath. This is not about forcing flexibility. It is about gently coaxing the spine back into its natural, harmonious rhythm, hydrating the precious discs between the vertebrae and creating space for the vital life force, our chi, to flow without obstruction from our center to our periphery. Sipping warmth. My third morning habit is an act of deep and ancient wisdom, a simple tradition honored by many of the world's oldest cultures which understood the body's inner workings. It is the practice of honoring the body's core with the gift of warm water before any other food or drink is allowed to enter the system. We must understand that after a long night of rest and repair, our internal organs, especially the exquisitely sensitive furnace of our digestive system, are in a relatively quiescent and delicate state. To shock this peaceful inner environment with something icy cold, be it water, juice, or milk taken directly from the refrigerator, is a significant act of unkindness to ourselves. The sudden cold causes the fine network of blood vessels in the stomach and intestines to constrict violently. It forces the body to expend a tremendous amount of its precious, newly gathered morning energy simply to heat the liquid to a temperature where it can be properly utilized. It is a daily energetic tax that over many decades can contribute to a gradual but definite weakening of what traditional medicines call the digestive fire, leading to many of the symptoms of poor digestion, bloating, and low energy that people mistakenly accept as an inevitable part of growing older. The path of wisdom is always one that seeks to work in harmony with the body's natural inclinations, not against them. A glass of warm water, sipped slowly and mindfully in the morning's quiet moments, is a profound act of gentle, internal nurturing. When I take the first sip, I do so with my full attention. I try to feel the soothing warmth as it travels down my throat, spreads like a warm, benevolent pool in my chest, and settles in my belly. This pleasant warmth has an immediate relaxing and soothing effect on the muscles of the entire digestive tract. It is a gentle awakening for the organs, a signal that the day is beginning and that they can prepare for the task of nourishment at their own pace. Crucially, the warm water provides deep and efficient hydration to a body that has lost a surprising amount of fluid through respiration overnight. It does so in a form that the body can absorb almost effortlessly without the energetic struggle required to fight against cold. The cells are replenished, the tissues are plumped, and the inner rivers of lymph and blood begin to flow freely once more, clearing away the metabolic debris of the night. While plain warm water is a perfect and complete practice in itself, I often, as a personal preference, add a single thin slice of fresh ginger root to my glass as it steeps. In the language of nature, ginger is, by its very essence, a warming and stimulating plant. It has been revered for thousands of years in the East as a supreme aid to digestion. It offers a very gentle, friendly nudge to the stomach, encouraging it to begin producing the necessary digestive enzymes for the day's meals without any harshness. It is also a powerful circulatory stimulant, helping to move the blood and the vital energy of the body to the extremities, dispelling any lingering morning stiffness from the joints and promoting a feeling of vitality and warmth that truly radiates from one's core outward. But the ginger is merely a helper. The true essence of this powerful habit remains the warmth itself. This simple, cost-free daily ritual becomes a cornerstone of long-term health. It helps to maintain a strong and balanced digestive system, encourages the complete and regular elimination of the body's waste products, and keeps the body's inner channels clear, open, and resilient. Sunlight reception. The fourth habit in my morning sequence serves to connect my small, personal rhythm to the great, life-giving and unchanging rhythm of the cosmos. It is the simple yet profoundly important practice of sunlight reception. For all but the most recent flicker of human history, our ancestors lived in a deep and constant communion with the cycles of the sun. The rising of the sun was the clear, unambiguous signal to awaken, to hunt, to gather, and to work. Its setting in the west was the equally clear invitation to return home, to share stories, and to rest. Our bodies, our very cells, are still exquisitely tuned to this ancient rhythm. Our modern lives, however, are spent primarily sealed away inside boxes, illuminated by the flat, static, and energetically dead glow of artificial light. We have severed this most fundamental connection, and this has created a deep and subtle confusion within our entire physiology, contributing to a host of modern maladies of both body and mind. Our bodies contain a master clock, located in a region of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and this clock governs the daily rhythms of nearly every process in our body, from the secretion of hormones to the repair of our DNA. The single most powerful signal for setting this master clock correctly each day is the first light of the morning sun. Therefore, after I have completed my gentle movements and have begun sipping my warm water, I make my way to a window, a porch, or an open doorway that has a clear view of the eastern sky. It is crucial to understand that I do not stare directly at the sun, particularly if it has risen above the horizon and is bright. To do so would be to harm the eyes. The practice is far more gentle. I simply stand or sit in a relaxed and receptive manner and allow the ambient light of the morning sky to enter my eyes without obstruction from glass if possible. I will stay there for 10 or even 15 minutes. The specific quality of light present during the first hour after sunrise is rich in certain wavelengths of the blue and red spectrum, and the specialized photoreceptors in my retinas are designed with perfect precision to detect this specific signal. When these receptors are stimulated, they send an immediate and powerful message along the optic nerve directly to my body's master clock. This one signal initiates a beautiful and intelligent cascade of physiological events. It triggers a healthy peak in the hormone cortisol, which provides natural alertness and energy for the day, and it decisively signals for the production of the sleep hormone, melatonin, to cease. This creates a clear and powerful start to the day for my entire being. The benefits of this simple act of communion with light are immense, and they unfold over the entire 24-hour cycle. By establishing a strong and unambiguous start signal in the morning, I am helping to ensure that my energy levels will be more stable and robust throughout the afternoon, avoiding the slump that so many people experience. Even more importantly, by creating a clear beginning, I am creating the conditions for a clear end. I am, in effect, programming my body to naturally become sleepy and ready for deep, restorative rest at the appropriate time later in the evening. A great many people who struggle with falling asleep at night are, in truth, suffering from an insufficient light signal in the morning. Their internal clock has been allowed to drift like a ship without an anchor. This daily communion with the light is also, for me, a deeply spiritual practice. As I stand there, simply receiving the gift of the light and the warmth, I feel a sense of my own smallness within and my immense belonging to a much greater reality. It is a practice of humility and gratitude that nourishes my spirit as much as the light nourishes my body. Noble purpose. We have now arrived at the fifth and final habit. This is the keystone, the central element that locks all the other practices into a single, cohesive, and powerful whole. It is what gives them meaning and enduring power. Without this final piece, the other habits, however beneficial, can over time become mere mechanical routines, hollowed out and empty of life. I could have a mind that is still, a body that is open, a core that is warm, and a day begun in light. But if my life lacks a sense of meaning, all of that preparation is for a journey with no destination. This is the habit of consciously and deliberately connecting with a noble purpose for the day that is about to unfold. It is the practice of infusing the hours ahead with clear intention before the world has a chance to impose its own chaotic and often meaningless agenda upon me. This is what transforms mere longevity into a life of profound dignity and quiet joy. The nature of one's purpose changes, as all things do, with the seasons of a life. For a young person, purpose is often rightly focused on the future, on striving, on achieving, on building a career, on raising a family, on making a tangible mark on the world. This is a beautiful and necessary form of purpose. But for a person who has had the privilege of seeing 94 seasons come and go, purpose often takes on a different quality. It becomes less about doing and more about being. It becomes more immediate, more subtle, and in many ways more profound. So, after my other four practices are complete, I sit in the quiet for a few final precious minutes, and I choose a simple qualitative intention for my day. I do not create a list of tasks, I choose a state of being. My purpose for today might be as simple as, today my intention is to practice the art of listening, both to the quiet voices of others and to the even quieter silence within myself. Or it might be, today I will endeavor to bring a spirit of profound gratitude to the simple sacred act of preparing and eating my meals. Or perhaps my purpose is simply, today I will meet my own moments of slowness or forgetfulness, not with the familiar voice of frustration, but with a gentle, patient, and forgiving smile. This practice of setting a noble purpose fundamentally reframes the entire experience of the day. It provides a moral and spiritual compass that gives direction to my inner life. The inevitable challenges and difficulties that arise throughout the day are no longer seen as random annoyances or unfortunate obstacles. They are transformed. They become the curriculum. They become the sacred training ground for me to practice my chosen quality of being. If my chosen purpose for the day is patience, then a delayed appointment or a fumbling with a difficult container is not a problem. It is my monastery for that moment, a perfect and divine opportunity for me to deepen my practice of patience. This gives meaning and dignity to every moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. It dissolves the pervasive feeling of being a passive victim of life's circumstances and restores a quiet, unshakable sense of inner agency. It is the ultimate secret to vitality at any age. It is not enough to simply keep the body moving. One must have a reason to move it. This is how we ensure that each new day given to us is not just another 24 hours to endure, but another precious and unrepeatable opportunity to truly, deeply, and beautifully live. Which of these 5 habits speaks most directly to a need in your own morning routine? I would be genuinely interested to know.